Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for participating in this afternoon's virtual conference related to non-docket 2022-30-E, the independent integration study conducted pursuant to South Carolina Code annotated section 58-37-60. I'm Jocelyn Boyd. I am employed by the Public Service Commission. I'd also like to recognize a couple of other individuals who are in the hearing room. My colleagues who are participating in the virtual conference today in some capacity. First, Norman Scarborough is present in the hearing room. He's the director of our Public Utility Analyst Department, and if you participated in the integration workshop last August, you know Norman's face and remember that he basically was a presenter and the moderator of that workshop. Also, professional engineer Lance Holt is in the hearing room with me. Our court reporter Joe Wheat is in the hearing room with us this afternoon. Our live stream producer Melissa Purvis is also present, and our WebEx extraordinaire today, Gwen Richardson, is also present. So we, staff, thought it appropriate at this point in time. Well, first of all, I think Mr. Wellborn filed a letter asking for an update from staff in the non-docket. And so we thought it appropriate to schedule a virtual conference. Before I proceed, though, with the agenda, which you should have received by email. It's posted in the non-docket on our docket management system. I wanted to identify those who are present virtually. I will start with whom I believe is the chair, and then the vice chair, recognize those members of the technical advisory team, if that is okay, and then we'll move forward to the other members. Hopefully that's okay with everyone. Dr. Nasiri?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Nasiri, would you provide us with the organization with whom you are employed, who you represent on the technical advisory team?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm with the University of South Carolina.
Thank you very much. And everyone, this is also, we're recording not only video of this afternoon's conference, but also, as I mentioned, our court reporter is present. Thank you, Dr. Nasiri. And Ms. Tondini, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
You are, that's correct.
Okay, would you identify with whom you are employed? Thank you for being present this afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the time. We appreciate this meeting. I'm Lee Tondini, Utility Strategy Director for Duke Energy Carolinas and Duke Energy Progress in South Carolina.
And Ms. Tondini, you're the vice chair, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so Dr. Nasiri is the chair. Ms. Tondini is the vice chair of the Technical Advisory Committee. I will now proceed to Mr. Kuhn, Mr. Chris Kuhn.
Hey, sorry. I'm Chris Kuhn. I'm the General Counsel for the Electric Cooperatives of South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Kuhn.
Thank you.
Mr. Wagner, Mr. Chris Wagner.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Chris Wagner. I'm Director of Transmission Planning for Santee Cooper.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wagner. Thank you for being present. Mr. Chris Ware.
Yeah, I'm Chris Ware. I'm the Vice President of Engineering for Central Electric Power Cooperative.
Thank you for being present and participating, Mr. Ware.
Thank you.
Mr. Matt Hammond.
Hey, good morning or good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Matt Hammond. My video is not starting for some reason, but I work for Dominion Energy South Carolina and I'm filling in for Leeson Backus. He's out of town.
Thank you for participating and being present this afternoon. Mr. Mike Smith.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mike Smith, I'm Vice President of Business and Technology Strategy for the Electric Cooperatives of South Carolina.
Thank you for participating, Mr. Smith. Mr. Justin Powell.
Hi, I'm having trouble with my camera. I'm Justin Powell with the Department of Transportation. I'll be doing this in conjunction with Rob Beambaugh, who is our Director of Engineering Support, who has another assignment today, but he is also going to be participating in this process.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Powell, and thank you for participating this afternoon. Ms. Susie Shannon.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Susie Shannon, I serve as President and CEO of the South Carolina Council on Competitiveness, and I am the designee of Commerce Secretary Harry Lightsey.
Wonderful. Thank you for being present this afternoon. Ms. Dawn Hip.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dawn Hip, and I'm with the Office of Regulatory Staff, and I'm sitting in for Chris Huber, who is out of the office today.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hip. Thank you for participating. Mr. Eddie Moore.
Hi, I'm Eddie Moore. I run the energy program at the Coastal Conservation League.
Thank you for being present and participating, Mr. Moore. Mr. Mike Lavanga.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Mike Lavanga on behalf of Nucor Steel. And I think Rob Smith is on as well for Nucor.
Wonderful. Thank you for participating. Mr. Hamilton Davis.
Hey, Jocelyn. Hamilton Davis. I'm Vice President of Regulatory Affairs for Southern Current and also the Regulatory Chair for the Carolinas Clean Energy Business Association.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, and thank you also for participating. And then Mr. Smith, Mr. Lavanga indicated your presence this afternoon. Would you please introduce yourself again and the entity with whom you are or with whom you represent?
Hey, Ms. Boyd and members of the committee, this is Rob Smith. I'm with Moore Van Allen and represent Nucor Steel.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay, did I miss anyone inadvertently? Okay, thank you so much. So what I wanted to do, I'm sure that you all have seen the agenda for today. If you haven't, I would ask Ms. Purvis. Ms. Purvis, would you please display the agenda? We don't intend to take up much of your time this afternoon, but we felt it important to touch base, communicate, because our budget, of course, as you are aware, begins, the new fiscal year begins July 1st, which is Saturday. And the General Assembly and the governor have kindly appropriated funds for the study, and there's certain conditions attached to those funds. So we wanted to make sure that you are aware of that as you work, to perform your work as members of the technical advisory team, but also be mindful that the funds are available from July 1st through June 30th of next year. Because as you're aware, state government operates, at least our agency does, on a fiscal year basis. And so that's why we felt it important to communicate with you prior to July 1st. So the agenda that's posted on DMS and the agenda that you should have been served electronically includes us talking briefly today about the funding for the integration study under 583760. There is also a proviso that exists that basically states that we need to provide notification to the State Regulation of Public Utilities Review Committee prior to expenditure of funds related to the consultant's work for the study. Also, as I just mentioned, we wanted everyone to be aware about the constraints as it relates to the Appropriations Act for fiscal year 24. As I said before, we operate on a fiscal year basis, and that fiscal year is July 1st through June 30th. And finally, staff wanted you to at least be thinking about, as a team, how you might convey to the commissioners the status of the study to keep them informed. That's important to staff. So I'll begin with, those are the topics, brief topics we're going to address, and to see if we can answer any additional questions, procedural questions for the team today. I am placing on the document camera now the commission's provisos, which have been approved for fiscal year 24. And we also posted the proviso on the docket management system in that non-docket, and hopefully you have copies of it. But the commission's proviso, which begins, oh, it has it? It's too big? Oh, I apologize. Ms. Purvis is enlarging the proviso. Thank you, Ms. Purvis. Is that good? Let me ask, begin with Dr. Nasiri. Can you see that proviso? Can you read it?
I can see it. It's kind of hardly readable. So I believe it was the email was shared with the. We received the email.
Okay.
Referring from yes.
All right. Well, the proviso that I'm referring to is proviso 72.3. And there is a sentence in that proviso that reads, prior to expending funds related to consultant engagement, the PSC will provide the Public Utilities Review Committee with justification for approval. Let's see here. There we are. With approval of expenditure, the results of the study, independent study, shall be reported to the governor and to the General Assembly. So we did post this document in the non-docket. If you're not able to access it through your email, it is posted in the non-docket. Just want everyone to be aware of that. Also, we posted a section of Part 1B of the Proviso 118.19 regarding non-recurring revenue. And the last page of that document, and we highlighted the amount of appropriations of not for this line item, the non-recurring revenue for the South Carolina integration study. Everyone can see it's $250,000. So issues that we wanted you to be aware of, and I think maybe Mr. Wellborn may have asked. He didn't ask directly about funding, I don't think, but I think his letter inquired about request for information document that where we solicited basically input on responses rather on the costs of a high-level white paper integration study. So if those answers don't answer your questions, we'd like to know. And let's see what else I have not covered from the agenda.
The deadline, you talk about the deadline, the June 30th, 2024 is the deadline for the completion of the study?
Yes, I mentioned that's the...
have to have expended the money by June 30th, 2024.
Right. Thank you, Norman. And also, we'd also like for you to think about, if you would, providing the commissioners with an update on your plan for completing the study. So I don't want to sound like we're trying to help you do your work at all, but just wanted to make you aware of some of the, I call them conditions, but they really are. The need to let PERC know before we expend funds for the consultant, and the updates to the commissioners regarding the integration study progress, and then the funding. Ma'am? Okay, question? Okay, can you tell me from whom? Please. Oh, Ms. Tondini? Ms. Tondini? Hi.
Hi, Ms. Boyd.
Hi.
I have a couple of quick questions.
Okay.
I understand June 30th deadline. That is for expending the funds, but not the actual report. Is that correct?
That's for expending the funds for this fiscal year related to the consultant. So, there is a section under 58.3.3760, is section C, Ms. Tondini, that says the commission may hire or retain a consultant to assist with the independent study, and that the commission is exempt from complying from the procurement code. So I don't know how important the funds are to the technical advisory team, but right now all we have approval for is the $250,000 for this fiscal year. And just to make you aware, if the team feels that it may need funding in the future, I think our budget proposal is due. We have to provide that to the governor in the governor's office in September.
Okay.
Okay. And so then that would be for, of course, as I'm sure you're aware, for fiscal year 25.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And
All
then the statute that you referenced, how does the commission envision the hiring and analysis of a consultant?
So, I think Mr. Scarborough in his presentation to the initial presentation to PERC and the House and Senate subcommittees, we mentioned that we envisioned the technical advisory team informing the commission prior to engaging the consultant, because the team is performing the work. So that's what we thought would happen. But the team may have another vision.
Okay.
But the team would bring recommendations or a recommendation to the commission and its justification as to why that consultant should be retained.
Okay.
Okay?
So y'all are looking for a recommendation on the consultant, who would manage the consultant, and likewise.
Yes, because I don't think it's the intent, and the team can advise us otherwise, Ms. Tondini, for the commission to be as involved in writing the report. We expected that to be done by the consultant.
With the team's input.
With the team's input, right.
Team's input, right.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Dr. Nasiri?
Yes.
Yes,
so
sir.
Good afternoon again.
Yes, sir.
I believe there has been some maybe ambiguity or misunderstanding of kind of the process to select the consultant. And so I want to just make sure we are clear on that. So the Public Service Commission expects the committee, the advisory team, the TAT to select that consultant. And if that's the case, what is the criteria? What is the timeline? And then kind of process as a matter of fact. So
Okay, may I ask this question? I don't think I'm imposing. Is it the team? We can create a process like the process similar to what we use for when the commission hires other consultants, Dr. Nasiri and the remaining members of the technical advisory team, and issue an RFP. That's not a problem. But I think we originally thought that the technical advisory team, would either bring suggestions to the commission or a suggestion for a consultant. If that's not the team's vision, if you would let staff know, I'll let the chair know, and we can move forward with using the process that we normally use to seek consultants. And then if you want to be provided those names, you have to let us know. But so can you tell me what is the team's, what are your wishes?
So, I mean, I really don't want to say team's wish here because I have to really discuss with them.
Okay.
And then we have to decide as a team.
All right.
But I was just pointing out to the kind of, there was no clarity that what the process would be and how it's going to work out. So now kind of I have some understanding, at least from commission's point of view. They expect that the TAT advisory to kind of issue RFP and then receive LOIs and then kind of select a consultant to perform this study and deliver by the end of by June 30th next year. Is that the case?
That's our normal process. I will say this, Dr. Nasiri, the code section that I referenced earlier states that the commission is exempt from complying with the state procurement code. So, which means that we don't have to follow the normal procedure. That's just the procedure the commission has used in many of its dockets recently, including its avoided cost dockets and its dockets related to Santee Cooper's integrated resource plan, competitive procurement for renewable energy. That's the process that staff has used thus far, and with the blessing of the commission through an order. But as I said, the commission is exempt from using the state procurement code under this statute. But I think that process was used in part for transparency purposes.
Thank you.
So I think, I don't want to leave you with, I think we need, if you all don't mind communicating to us your preference. Was that what you envisioned too, Norman?
And you know, we will accommodate whatever y'all need. If you want us to run the RFP process, we can do that.
Right.
We just don't want to appear to be infringing on y'all's independences.
That's correct.
Study. So we're trying to, we'll provide you all the support that you need, but we don't want to impose ourselves on you. So.
Right.
Yes. It is clear now, at least for me. And then regarding process, I know Ms. Tandini has a question, but I want to hear that question and answer too. But probably the advisory team will decide how we are going to kind of move forward on that.
Okay. Ms. Tandini?
Hi, Ms. Boyd. I would make a suggestion. We have a meeting coming up, but I think given the timeline with the fiscal year, we could probably schedule something sooner. Could I suggest that we as a group meet and discuss and then bring a recommendation to the commission of how to proceed?
Please.
That would be great.
Please.
We can do that.
Thank you so much.
And we were cognizant of the short time period, so we'll do that quickly.
Thank you.
That's why we were trying to have this meeting today, you know, recognizing that the new budget year kicks off July 1, and we know that it's going to be a tight time schedule, so we wanted y'all to be able to act as quickly as you could.
Absolutely. We will do that for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Have we covered everything? Okay.
I think so.
So I'm going to call the roll very briefly and ask if anyone has anything, and then bid them good day and a safe afternoon. Dr. Nasiri, do you have any follow-up questions or comments?
No, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for being present. Ms. Tondini, do you have any follow-up comments?
I do not. We'll just look forward to getting information soon.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kuhn?
No, ma'am. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Mr. Wagner?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ware?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hammond?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Smith? Mike Smith?
Nothing. Thank you very much.
I have two Mr. Smiths, Mr. Mike Smith, so I had to call your first name. Mr. Powell?
I have no further comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Ms. Shannon?
Hi, yes, Ms. Boyd. I do have one item. I promise I'll be brief.
Okay.
I just wanted to update everyone for purposes of our ongoing work on this. I'm sure all here are aware that Congress enacted the CHIPS and Science Act, which was designed in part to sort of nourish production of select technologies back on the U.S. shores. Part of that law has authorized and appropriated funds through U.S. Department of Commerce, EDA, to issue awards competitively to fund 20 or so regional tech hubs across the U.S. with, I think it's up to about $75 million in funding each. The state of South Carolina, with the South Carolina Department of Commerce as the lead, universities, Savannah River National Lab, Technical College System, and the Council on Competitiveness are also participating in a consortium group, but the Boston Consulting Group has been retained. The state has assembled an in-state team to begin pursuing this grant. It's currently commissioning industry-specific and stakeholder group conversations now. That application is due by August 15th. The reason I mention it is, as of now, the focal area for South Carolina's application is around a clean energy tech hub that is designed not only to increase generation, but also build resiliency for an end-to-end supply chain, and so moving some of the TRLs, the technology readiness level, currently at a 5 to 6, such as prototype, closer to a 9, that is deployment and commercialization within the next 5 to 10 years. So I think whichever direction we go, and certainly with the commissioning of a consultant, that needs to probably work in a complementary tandem with the ongoing Tech Hub application activity the state has underway now.
Thank you, Ms. Shannon, for that information.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hip, Ms. Dawn Hip?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moore?
My only comment would be happy 4th of July.
Yes, I hope that you have a happy and safe 4th of July too. Mr. Lavanga?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hamilton Davis?
No, all good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And Mr. Rob Smith?
No, nothing further. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you all very much. We genuinely, sincerely appreciate you meeting us with such short notice, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. 4th of July.